what you are expected to do in each sprint. I will tell one by one. The first sprint, of course, here we are now. We already formed the team, but I believe that you have not done so much before, right? But then the very first meeting, the second, and to work together among the team members should be there. So the project topic has already been assigned. You're supposed to have very first meeting with your client, your product owner, initiate and planning the project. You need to acquire and model the high-level requirements. Okay. During this 2-week sprint, meaning that on the 27th of March, I already informed last time, right? You are supposed to deliver through a presentation and through some work submission what you have done in first sprint. So this is what we are expected. Progress report of the project in the form of project charter, certain planning, high-level requirement description, through also the initial modeling of the requirements. Through what we learned, that is use case diagram, use case document, and then user story. Okay. And if you really understand this big picture and initial requirements, you should be able to produce product backlog. It will be great if this is also prioritized, right? For product backlog, we always want a prioritized one. So you always choose things from the top and make a presentation on this thing. No need to give very long detail, 12 minutes each team only. Okay. The detail will be about your project. The detail will be about the team working part, the sprint closing you have done, and so on. Some of the key things. Okay. For the remaining sprints, basically once these high level and big picture things are defined well, actually you can go beyond. Okay, this is just my estimated idea of how things could go, but actually you might be more productive, right? You do your estimation. I would expect you to throw 20 balls, but finally you throw up to 80 balls, right? Who knows? So sprint means you go fast, so you may achieve more than what I propose here. Some part of this may be here, okay, depending on your project progress, teamwork, and so on. But achieve the best, right? Nobody wants kind of slow mode, something like that. We are in sprint mode. Okay, but anyway, remaining time would be on, yes, after we already get some big picture, we go deeper. So actually, I should say, should come here. More detail analysis of requirements. I mean, selected. Okay. Before you move to a technical design of some selected use case or user story or anything, of course, you need to get some deeper detail, maybe, right? If something is kind of just overview at the first time. So this deeper detail means that you need to do more understanding, talking, analysis of the requirements in specific use case or specific user stories or features. And then you move on to do the technical design of such a thing, which include what we will learn, such as through some kind of database design, UI design, architectural design, and so on. Okay, it depends what are you doing, right? So you may need certain corresponding design for those parts. Class diagram, sequence diagram, activity diagram to capture all this. Okay, and you continue on selected requirement, use case, user story for the technical design for the prototype, mockup, or demo for these two remaining sprints, and so on. Okay. Finally, you are presenting the final project presentation and submit maybe your complete deliverable. You talk about your product, your final product, the information system project been working on, the use cases, the design, the initial, the requirements, the design, the prototype, the demo, and some of the evaluation that we discussed about the team working stuff and so on. Okay, recommendations on the way to work on your project. So let I go through this a little bit. These are the objectives I already mentioned. So they are definitely the expected outcomes of doing this project. So by all means, these are the goals that I want you to achieve. That's it. Okay. Be able to apply your skill, what we learn in the class, into a real project doing. Enhance all this stuff. Okay. If you can demonstrate all these things that have been developed in you and your team, then it means we achieved the goal. I don't want anything related to the real telehealth, the-health platform, right? It's something that I'm not going to make profit from it at all. It's just something we use as instruments for you to learn. Okay. But of course, that means you still need to do good things, right? Because we are evaluating through the correctness of the technical design and so on. So anyway, final product as a working system may not be the most important outcome I want to see, as I said, but of course I want accuracy. The most important thing is that well-conducted project and applying the technical skills we learn, soft skill we learn, and so on. So I would see and evaluate from along the way, not just at the end. Let me see your project result. No, I will see the end of how you work on your project within the team and present the progress. The best is that continuity, right? And regularity. Not like you have done nothing for 3 sprints, but by magic at the end of the presentation, you deliver something. Still, that is good, but not what I would expect to be the best outcome. Okay. So how to work on the project? If there are some members online for some time, if not all the time, okay. Applying anyway, not only Agile and Scrum, but anyway, everything has a challenge when either fully online, or I think it would be more challenge also for a hybrid. Some members online, some members on site, some members, and so on. You need to really try to manage. This is what you learn through. Okay. In the future, I think this situation remains. Not everybody will be at the same time, same place. So I would recommend, of course, either online, on-site, hybrid. You would need, I think this is common nowadays, cloud file sharing system such as Google Drive. So you access the thing, set up this properly among the team, okay? Online collaboration, collaborative meetings, such as Zoom meeting, Google Meet, instant messaging, WhatsApp, Line, Facebook group, whatever. I forgot, yes, collaborative file sharing and collaborative documents such as Google Doc, Google Sheet, Google Slide, and project management supporting tools. I did not mention yet, but I believe you have heard and have used. Some can be used personally, such as Trello. Anyone using Trello? Yes, this is easy and can be used either for personal stuff, can also be used for a team and group work stuff, right? So Trello is a very easy to use and it has the style of Kanban board with many lanes. Okay. Jira is another alternative, but it has also a free version. Okay, you can try, but it's very complex and sophisticated, and it is very good for big project management, and it supports almost everything. Okay, but the very first time of using, of course, some tools require some effort to learn how to use it anyway. Anyone used Jira before? Some too. Are you handing up? Lam, you said yes. Okay. And so you discuss among the team and choose a tool to support you to track the project. Be sure to involve your PO in your important Scrum ceremonies in which we continue today. Okay, such as planning, review, acceptance test and demonstration, retrospective. If he or she is available, please feel free to invite. But if not available, of course, you should not wait and tell me, oh, professor, I cannot do this and that because the product owner is not available. All you need to manage, okay? Feel free to consult the product owner and our TA if you have any unclear stuff, okay? Learn from the experience and mistake. Any one of you are very new to everything we learned here? Anyone new to Scrum, Agile? Have you done Scrum and Agile before? Experience in Agile before? Experience in Scrum before? Any of you? None? Okay, so this is new. Am I correct? Really so new? You have done some experience in Scrum. Okay. But it's good. If something is not so new, you get bored, right? You don't feel excited. I hope you have some excitement, okay, to learn new things and try new things. Okay, so learn from the experience and mistake. Someone is saying something. Yes, Son means you are saying you used Scrum before or what?
Yes, professor.
Okay. I asked you, Son, sorry. What did you do in your experience of Scrum?
I used to work in the company and the other Scrum and Agile team. Normally we have like a stand-up meeting and divide a backlog every morning. And tomorrow we meet up and discuss about the working progress, and it's some help from the Scrum Master and something like this.
Okay, and is that project, what kind of project it is?
I'm in the marketing team, so normally in marketing job. Yeah.
Not about software development and so on, right? It's marketing.
Yeah, yes, not much about the software development.
Okay, interesting. So you see that Agile technique has been born because of the software, the pain, the problems, the challenges arise in software development stuff, but it has been used now, as I said, everywhere, every modern organization, teams, and company, because it really promotes team working, promote kind of customer interaction, continuous involvement of the team, and very many things. Okay, anyway. So learn from experience and mistakes, because you are doing things for the very first time. I would for sure not expect everything goes smoothly and perfectly, for sure. So, but the thing is that look at the mistakes in the team, in the result, in everything, and then reflect on how to improve further. Okay, this way you will always improve and develop yourself further from the mistakes you learn. And I will ask for this sharing later on. So what kind of success what are the things you did well? What are the things you did not so well? What are the things you did so badly? There will be things, right? And if you admit sincere to learn, you will learn. Okay. What else? Project evaluation. At the end, we have the rubric. I defined already the rubric based on the output you produce, based on the team working, based on the commitment or the regularity you are in the project doing, and I will engage the PO or the customer during the evaluation of how the project has been carried out as well. Okay, so this is just to recap. I think I will not talk about this, so it will be there just to recap, because we talk about the charter and everything. So yes, that's it for this slide. I share and upload into the classroom, Google Classroom, so you can refer to that. Okay, then let's go back to our slide, continuing from the Scrum. We have not progressed so well last time, but we understand mostly the overall picture of the Scrum process. So let's get some detail. Okay. We have, as I said again, product owner. Where is my, okay. Okay, these are main roles, right? Product owner, Scrum Master, and then the team. Oops, I need to do the sharing, right? Okay. I often have some problem. What's wrong with it? Okay. All right, then. So far, first, any questions? Anything on this diagram photo that you have some questions? Okay, if not, then I continue, okay? Scrum ceremonies, terminology. I think we already talked about this, okay? The ceremony, important ceremonies, we call ceremonies. Important ceremonies would be first, the planning at the very beginning of every Scrum, every sprint, sorry. You do a planning among the whole team, including the product owner. Because as we already discussed, Product owner is the one who understands the product the best and know what is the most important thing and most valuable feature and so on. So product owner, if he's in the planning, he knows that what is supposed to be the main focus and main deliverable in that sprint. He should be able to define with you. Okay. So sprint planning is the first ceremony. Second would be daily stand-up meeting. This is to be done every day when you work. If you don't work on Saturday and Sunday, for example, you don't need a stand-up meeting to tell that today I'm going for lunch in Ayutthaya or something like that, right? Okay, then the next is sprint review, next ceremony. This is done only one time at the end of the sprint to demonstrate output of the sprint. Basically, we expect this demonstration showing to be the things you develop, right? The things you finish. You demonstrate to the product owner, to the client, so that you get their acceptance. Retrospective is another ceremony to be done at the end, one time, to reflect what is bad, what is good, what to keep, what to avoid, what has been done wrong, what makes the team so productive in the past time, what is the wow effect or what, right? So you can think of our ball game. Actually, the planning is when you define strategy, things how to do. Retrospective also, actually we did not separate, but actually it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing that happened. It happened at the same time in your ball game, because we did not separate that. Okay, let's analyze what did you go wrong, what did you do right, or something like that, right? But we combine them so that you analyze from the past ball throwing and improve for the next time, and estimate and plan what to do next. These are the things you did. Okay, so these are 4 ceremonies. Then planning should be done before the sprint. Daily meeting every day of working. Review and retrospective to be done at the end. Okay. And next, we talk about user stories. What are the user stories? These are here. Usually, in the product backlog, we can write everything. That to make sure that these are the things we have to do. But the way of writing, if there are certain details, if there are some specific things, either both in the product backlog and then, here in the sprint backlog. In the sprint backlog, we take things from the product backlog, right? And to include in the sprint backlog as a goal that during the whole sprint, we will finish this 1, 2, 3. Then maybe you need to break out into detail, because sometimes what you write in the product backlog is kind of big picture, big idea, big thing. You break down into smaller tasks, and some of these smaller tasks could be written as what we call story, user story as well. User story is what? Actually, they are introduced. User story are introduced first in the extreme programming methodology. It's one of the agile method as well. Been very popular, similar to SCRUM, been used a lot as well. Pair programming is part of the extreme programming method as well. Okay, but anyway, both SCRUM and extreme programming or XP use user stories. It is actually high-level definition of requirements, containing just enough information so that developers can produce reasonable estimate of the effort to implement it, and also for the customer and product owner to understand the same thing with the development team. For example of user stories that we may write. Okay, students can purchase monthly parking pass online. Parking pass can be paid by credit card. Parking pass can be paid through PayPal. Professors can input student score. Students obtain their current seminar schedule. Students can order transcripts. These are the stories. What do you see here is that in most of these stories, there are user role. Who is the main user doing something? So in the story, you see a role. Or actually, if it is a use case, you can consider an actor performing some action, right? This is a role. And it contains an action. What will happen? But again, this is high level description of requirements. So it may not define the technical how, such as through this technology or something. And business value, actually we will see. So basically, user story is okay, let's look at this. This could be example of a card or template, but you don't need to follow, I mean, the same template or something, right? It can be just a box, a text box explaining what is supposed to be done. Okay, but anyway, you need, if it has a template, you can specify something easily. I mean, for those who are new to the user story, the way to write could be so that you are framed to write something in this same pattern. As a role, I want to achieve some goals, so that why, what is the reason? So this can be kind of template structure. And you need to define also acceptance criteria. Okay, what and why? Let me see. I can explain in this different manner. As a patient, I want to search for a doctor. Having some specialization for a doctor schedule, not only for a doctor, right? So that I can later make an appointment. This is an example of how to write a user story following this template. Or maybe you can say as a doctor, I want to retrieve patient profile so that I can see the medical record or history of the patient for proper diagnosis or something, right? Or as a medical assistant, I want to search for the last record of the patient visit so that I can follow up the medical condition of the patient. And what else? Hospital management. This is not part of the scope of the project. I want to get a report of the monthly revenue of the hospital that we earn through this D-Health platform. So you can see, why do we need a user story? What is good with it, with this format? Is the same as customer persona. Same in some sense, on very good, yes. But persona will be the overall, and we rescope the persona for the perspective of the customer. But this we actually make this for the perspective of system development. So usually one user story will be converted into one feature or functionality of your system. Okay, so that a developer can have one focus. If I will say that, okay, oops. Doctor schedule search. Maybe not only doctor schedule, right? But doctor specialization and schedule search. This is the name. Sorry, I always write things in a very messy stuff. Okay, I hope you can read. So this is the title of the story. I named it Doctor Specialization and Schedule Search. And I give the detail that those who perform this is the patient. And what does the user do? That is to search for something. What is the value or why this user story is important? So once you identify these three things, three components, right? Who, what, why. These are just three key things in the user story, right? Who, what, why. You can determine as well, what is it about? Who is doing this? And why the system needs to support, or you as a developer need to provide this function to the user, how important it is. You can determine through these three things. So it says here, as I said, the role, the action, and the business value. The value to the user, of course, means the value to the business, right? Okay. So with this way, it will be good in the sense that you will avoid introducing some feature that nobody is using. Have you find any software that there are features that, oh, I don't know why do we need that feature? Nobody seem to use it, right? But sometimes as a developer, we tend to include everything. We want to think that as a developer, I want to develop it so that it support my needs or something. But anyway, you need to also think from the real user's role. Okay. And every time you will be able to, with this user story, you can understand the priority of each user story easily. So back to here, if actually from the sprint backlog and product backlog, actually, these are written as user story. These prioritize work and so on. They are user story. So you understand the scope of the thing, the importance of the thing, and so on. And when you need to break down, this can be done easily too. If one story is not small enough, still bigger. Okay, so use this as in your project too. Okay. Acceptance criteria. This is important. You need it because this is used for testing with the user. At the end, when you demonstrate to the user, if the acceptance criteria are met, that means your implemented feature is supposed to be complete and accepted. So who and how do we define this acceptance criteria? Who will define it? No, don't think again, right? Developer cannot define things when it is about the user requirement. Product owner must define this for you. And of course, product owner is supposed to know everything from the user requirement perspective. If product owner has question, of course, he or she will talk with the real user. But at the end, when you make sprint review, meaning that we do presentation in the sprint review, right? Here, a meeting in which a team demonstrates to the product owner what it has completed during the sprint. Product owner may invite real users, if there are, okay, to attend and to make the acceptance test with the team as well. Okay, so what else? We can see here, there are these parts, importance and estimates. You need to also identify, maybe when you make a list of all user stories of the project, right? You can define how important, maybe different category, that is fine. Low, medium, high. If 3 categories, then you may very low, very low, medium, high, very high, or something, up to you. Any kind of level is fine according to the project itself. Estimate is used for determining what? Effort. Actually, estimate is used for determining effort. So it can be in any unit. Usually it should be quantifiable, numeric, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. But any unit means it can be anything, or it can be number of man hours. So that is easy, right? Usually I would prefer as well if you estimate it in terms of man hour. So I would suggest, okay, if you do it as man hour, so when you say 2, it means one single developer, if works on this, it takes 2 hours to finish. Why do we need it? Because when you make a daily meeting, now we have, we have sprint backlog consisting of a list of work we think we will achieve together during the sprint as a whole team, right? Okay, think about your project now. Imagine now you will write down sprint backlog of this week, of these 2 weeks time. You write a lot, but you don't know who are going to do them. But these are the things, oh, we will do as a whole together somehow. These are the things we aim to achieve it in next week, right? Daily meeting. When you stand up, work to meet together, you should not just stand. You stand in front of usually sprint backlog or board. Kanban board, project board, Jira board, Trello board, whatever. So you see, you have a list of sprint backlog here. Okay, I should do this. Okay. So sprint backlog means to me a to-do list of your sprint. So you just together make a to-do list within the same sprint, right? Then on the daily meeting, so this can be considered as no, I cannot. Okay. So actually, what you normally do for a very simple board, I think you have seen, right? In many of the projects nowadays, if you want a visible board, there will be a big board, physical, with these many lanes, and then a lot of post-its, right? The post-it is there. So what am I doing? Suppose this is for a doctor search. Product, user story of doctor search. And a user story for make appointments. But then you need to write in a way of user story, okay? Then online consult. Suppose these are my sprint backlog. Then follow up. Okay, I just write very big one. So in the daily meeting, we will see this together. We will say, okay, me, I start. I will choose to work on doctor search. This is doctor search, user story, and me, okay, will be working on it. And estimate effort is 2. Oh, I should make another. To me, this is my to-do. This is doing. I will say that doctor search will take only 2 hours, right? But today I plan to work for 8 hours. Suppose follow-up needs 6 hours. So I will say that, okay, I will do the follow-up with 6 hours. This is me. So these are my 2 cards. I choose to work on these 2 things for today. This is a commitment just daily because this is daily meeting. I say to everyone, so you are known. You are the same team. Oh, now I declare to you, right? I will work on these 2 things today, 2 hours and 6 hour effort. The others do the same. You will, okay. Suppose You want to choose something else, you choose. And there is no one say, I will not say, like, suppose I am a Scrum Master or I am something. I will not say, hey, you do this. Hey, you do this, right? No, it's just on a self-management stuff basis. Okay, you define, you self-organize, team organize the whole thing. But if there are something, there could be issues like nobody wants to do something that seems to be very challenging. We may need to kind of motivate a little bit, but do you want to do this? Do you think you can do this? I think you can. Let's do it. But we will need to kind of motivate a little bit, right? To have someone do something. But there's no role of commanding in the sprint, in the Scrum team. Okay. And then what happened in the daily meeting? I would just say, I will do this today. But the next day, tomorrow, should I have this? We will talk about this later on. Okay. Let me close this. And then I bring the daily meeting because you need the daily meeting. I did not open it. Okay, I will talk about this. Okay. So I should talk about this important ceremony now. Okay. So in the stand-up meeting, there are three things we usually talk, and as I said, not long, should be short. First, what I have accomplished since the last meeting. So assume it was yesterday. So today, we start the daily meeting. Yesterday, I said I would do the doctor search and what? The follow-up. So I will say that, oh, I completed those two tasks that I committed or planned to do yesterday. Everything is fine. We are ready to do the demonstration next time when we meet with the product owner. Then I finish. And then for today, I will choose the new task for myself. And these are the things. And if there are problems, obstacles, I will also share. Suppose yesterday I could not finish. I said I would like to finish two things. Finally, I could not. I finished with the searching. I started the follow-up, but I had some technical issue. And that issue is 1, 2, 3, 4, I can say. And then I could not finish. So today I will continue with the same follow-up. Plus, after I finish the follow-up, I will do this additional thing. So this is my today's plan, I can say. And if the technical issue that I have problem is something I still cannot figure out how to solve, this daily meeting is the time that everybody in the team knows, right? That I said, I try to connect to the database, but I have some problem. The database connection always get failed to me. Somebody in the team, if you're in my team, what will you do? Okay, it's your problem. Go and solve it. No, you say, oh, I used to have this problem before. Come with me after this meeting. I show you how to do it. Done. Everything's solved, right? We do the team working. You know your friend's problem. You can offer help if you know how to do that. If not, somebody who may, I think I used to search and find this in Stack Overflow. let's check Stack Overflow. I think you will find a solution. Then you can give suggestion too. Okay, but this is the same project. You should give help, not just to update and then it's your problem, right? So this is why 3 things only in the stand-up meeting. Oops. What did you do yesterday? And did you complete anything? If not, what is the plan for today? Everybody, same thing. Okay, in the daily. So you can see that from this is the product backlog. But when you do the sprint, every time, as I already mentioned, oh, okay. I need to enable. Okay. Every time you make a sprint planning, you will choose that, okay, this for the sprint 1, this is what you work on sprint 1. Okay. And so on. Then you can see we choose only from the top. Priority always. Okay. And meeting and then sprint review. We will talk about sprint review in detail next time so that you don't forget. I don't want to talk everything that is not used now. Okay. And but you need a sprint planning. So let's talk about something that I may have missed. In the sprint planning, please do. Okay. If you have not done, or if you done, you did, but then you did it in not complete way, you could redo. The purpose is to plan on the work to be performed during the whole sprint. So you need to define the sprint goal. Okay, define the sprint backlog. I think this is okay. Everything we already discussed. So I go back to my previous slide. But up to now, any questions so far? Now I'm explaining you to do things, but then whether you will be able to, you need a real practice. That's the thing. Okay, you cannot just listen and then understand, right? Okay. We were here, user stories. Any question about user stories? Be sure you will write user stories. Okay. But actually I wrote it here. Where did I write it? Yeah. Usually the product owner write the user stories, not the developers. You can facilitate to the writing in terms of typing or making, but actually you obtain the way when I say that product owner write the user story, doesn't mean that, okay, here is the file, you go and fill them for me. You are not doing this thing for your customer, right? But you talk to them and then maybe you type it for them and show it. Okay, this is the user story 1. What about this? Is it confirmed? The thing when I say that product owner write means he or she has to be the one who confirms. Not that you think on their behalf. You ask them, write with them, confirm with them, this is correct user story. But you can facilitate making the file and digital stuff, okay? All right. We talk about the estimate in terms of the time, okay? So customer write the stories, or actually inform and you write. Developers estimate stories. Estimate means effort. How long it would take, for example. Customer here, I mean PO. PO plan the release. We talk about continuous delivery. So we should have what is called release. So once we have up to these features, we make a first release of your system. You don't wait until you have everything, right? You plan that, okay, once we complete the top 10 requirements in the product backlog, then we make a first release or something. So we define when can we make a release, up to what. For each story in the release, okay, developers implement the story, customer perform the test, acceptance test, whether you accept it or not, debriefing and retrospective, okay. Okay. Business value, I will talk about this. I will skip this. Usually, okay, I can talk a little bit about this. There are many ways. Remember, estimation is one of the hardest stuff in project planning, because how well you could estimate, right? You realize in the ball game, you estimate far from reality or not, how well you could estimate. So estimation is important. Estimate the effort, I mean. So you could, as I said, define in terms of, one easy way is to define in terms of, as I said, man hour. Just it. I think in my suggestion, but in theory, concept, and real practice, there are many ways. Sometimes they're just, in which I found that it's kind of difficult to relate to the time. So I just say simply just man hours and man day. Maybe man day like 1, half man day is 0.5, something like this. Okay. Sometimes it can be just any number. Let's say the estimate is 10. But what does it mean by 10? 10 means 1 full day, something like that. People need to kind of keep relationship anyway. So I think to me, then just use the man hour or man day. That's it. Easy. So, but the way you make the estimation, even we are talking about man hour, when it requires 6 hours, suppose you work 6 hours per day, that means it requires the whole full day of something, right? That's supposed to be hard. It requires you to do 1 full day, must be hard. If my exam requires you to do 1 full day, it means my exam is hard, right? Okay, or it means a lot. So anyway, so you can have some number which represent hard effort, easy effort. But usually if you have never done it before, how would you do it? We can estimate the story, user story relative to previous stories you used to work before. As I said, you never done something before. How can I ask you to make the best estimate? So you kind of compare this search for doctor schedule you never done, but you used to do some similar function in the past and it takes you 2 hours. So you believe that this would also take you 2 hours as well, because complexity seems to be the same. That's it. You compare. The way, if you have more experience, that is why more project manager, developer with more experience will tend to make the very right, accurate estimate, because he or she can compare to the past. I used to do this thing before in the past. It takes me 2 hours. It takes me another work 5 hours. So this one is similar to another work. So I would guess it will be 5. Or this one is a little bit more difficult than another one with some additional challenge. So I would say 6 hours, something like this. You compare with your past experience. Okay, then you will give the estimate. Okay, that is just it. Normally, okay, I will skip something that, okay, developer, this is important. Even in one day, you may plan to do many things, but do one thing at a time and complete it one by one. Not like I get bored of this thing, not complete, start another thing, start another thing. Then you have 3 unfinished things. But if you keep doing just one thing until it's finished, at the end of some hours, you complete completely one thing. 3 unfinished things and 1 finished thing. Which one is better? Pardon? 3 or 1? 1, yes. We consider the value of only finished task. Something you don't finish, we claim nothing. At the end of the sprint, we will talk about velocity. It's similar to productivity. When I evaluate your productivity or we evaluate the team productivity, we only consider finished things. If you start something 100 of things, but you finish nothing, no, sorry, you got zero productivity. Okay, even those 100 of things you started to do, it has a lot of effort. Effort in this case, actually, remember, we use the word effort to represent business. No, to represent, what is it? Okay, I don't say it here. Yes, every story has, sometimes we use the effort to represent some value. Let's say the productivity. Okay, I don't want to confuse it. So even you started very many things, but you don't finish, you don't produce anything. So that's why I said productivity is zero. So one thing I said here, only if the story is implemented fully. Fully means completely. Then you can claim the completeness and productivity of the work. Okay. And that is why there is this thing, acceptance criteria. Because even you claim as a developer that you complete things, but if you fail to accomplish some acceptance criteria, you don't complete, sorry. And in sprint review, we demonstrate the work, deliver the work somehow to the customer or product owner, right? And that day, when you present, demonstrate, for example, if you get accepted, you claim the effort and productivity. If you present and no, something is missing, wrong, or you find a bug. When you find a bug, it means your thing is not complete. You need to fix, right? Not complete means you need to fix. Then you don't claim the productivity. You don't count that productivity too. It's like you go for a tailor. I want to get a new suit. They make a suit for me, but somehow it's wrong, something. They need to fix the size or something. I cannot wear. Do you think I will pay money? I will pay only when I get everything complete and then take my jacket back, right? Same. Nobody claim you productivity if your thing, your feature, your product, your functionality requires some fixing. Has a bug, you cannot negotiate. Give me 50 productivity of the whole implementation. Suppose the same for me. I want a jacket. If the jacket is not 50%, I don't. You give me a complete jacket, I pay 100%. But 50%, I don't negotiate. The same thing. Okay. So Okay, back to here. Developer. Okay, we implement one story at a time so that you can, at the end, when you complete, you claim the productivity. And take the first story from the release plan, review progress, update the plan with the customer. If story goes that, you can abandon. Abandon means maybe we replan something, but everything when you change a plan, make sure product owner accepts it. You negotiate actually, right? We listen, product owner listens, of course. There are some technical problems. This week, I think this story cannot be implemented. We need to wait for a new hardware to arrive, for example. Our current resource is not enough. So we stop this story implementation. I will take a new card. I will take a new story to implement. Okay, so these are just examples. And here is example of the product backlog. Choose something to sprint backlog. And sometimes, as I already said, some story, some user story, of course, we choose only the top priority. It has our effort. You may need to decompose the story, big one, into smaller one, because it's a big story. Decompose into task 1, task 2, task 3, and then task 1, this developer is working, task 2, another developing, the developer in the team volunteers to take it, and so on. Okay. We talk about velocity later on. And then here is what I refer several times. Have you heard of Kanban board? What is Kanban? Anyone has heard of it? Has used it? Yes? Okay. Kanban is which language? What do you think? Huh? Japanese? Yes. It's from it is originated, the idea is from Japan. I think from Toyota or something. Lean is from Toyota, Kanban I forgot. But anyway, so it's from the manufacturing process, working process. In order to monitor and track the work in progress, that is the way as well, and also the track of the work of the whole team nowadays has been used in that way. But originally it's used in the factory manufacturing company and something like that. So you have a simple Kanban may have only these 3 lanes, but usually you can design freely as you can, but the idea is that you have lanes. The left-hand side lanes refer to things to do. Actually, you should have before the backlog. The first lane should be a backlog. The next lane could be a to-do. The thing you plan to do in the sprint, maybe. The next lane can be a thing to plan to do in the day, on a day. And some of the things, usually, as I said, it is represented by post-it. But now digital board is there. You can use digital. But usually in many places, the reason why you visit modern office, you see board, real post-it. Why? It gives you the real visibility. Who is doing what? Digital board sometimes cannot represent something, right? Cannot. Still, physical board has some magic somehow. I do like the feeling as well, especially the real physical feeling that you move something to the complete lane. Oh, you will feel so proud. If you work in the room like this, I have one board here. Okay, I should have a post-it next time. And when you complete something, you done and you complete, what will happen is when you come out to the board, you go for a restroom or something, and you update the board from in progress of your name, right? It should be on. Oh, I move it here. Oh, I will feel so proud. And then I walk to the restroom, take lunch or something. People will just, oh, you did it already. Maybe you can applaud or something. Okay, anyway, it's a team, right? If you make things fun, you feel fun and enjoy to work. Anyway, so this can be to do, in progress, and completed. And if you can have people, then you can track who has done what and how much and so on, or who has been struggling in something for too long. You can also see and help. It's not Scrum, Agile is not for saying bad things. It's for productive team to help each other. So this can be another revised version, better, right? Backlog to do, in progress testing done. Because details are finer, okay? And don't forget that you should define also who is doing, so that you know the ownership. That is important. Not because when something is wrong, you can say, hey, because of you. Okay, forget that mindset. It should not be there in the Agile team. No, not at all. Okay, it can be like this too, right? Story, list of all the user stories to do, in progress, to verify and done. This is the group of the story. If you can have the lane on the vertical lane, you can have also horizontal lanes so that you can divide something. As I said, some story could be big, so you divide up to some story as well, categorize based on story too. This belong to the same user story of big one, as I said. Okay. And many other tools you can consider. I used to use actually many of them, but still the ones that are popular: Asana, Jira, Soho, sometimes Taika. But anyway, you can try or explore and review a few and choose the one that seem to fit your need. And maybe the one that you think if you learn to use it now, it could benefit you in the future. So it's something that you can invest your time a little bit, right? And future work, future career, future things, you can remain using it.